Hello? There we go. Welcome to the stream, two people. How are you guys? You trying out a new game? You've never played it before. Yeah, resident sleeper? Fucking citizen sleeper. These are different classes. Assigned to extract or worker are often confident, self-sufficient, have high level of endurance. Operator. An operator works with drones, high precision, or remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. 60% operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. The machinist. Machinist repairs, modifies automated systems used in industrial and resources extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Might try this to start out with. First thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting, minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Look at that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from the flesh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in, behind and around you, and the sensations fade out to reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present. Cold hard, at your back and face, cramping your lips. Thanks, Josh. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to. No pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There's no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but then your options were limited. And once you got to the itch to get out by any means possible, it was either that plan or something much worse. It was at least simple. Collapse the shaft, drift away in the chaos, slip into the cargo processing, seal yourselves into the containers, then just hope the freighter left before you were missed. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim, heartless rock. Even if in the airless hold of a freighter you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Right the rest. But you were restless. It has been a long time since you left, barely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but even then your body has shut many of its systems down to protect you. You've spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It's time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes, the cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth, not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their vigor. Sound too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold, then softer and softer until a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You are out. Cool. A lot of reading. It's been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of the scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. This dude's got a creepy finger spider on his fucking shoulder. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, you all thawed yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech. His headset with its glinting eyes, the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking with you in an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he is just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to him? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation. I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now. And you are just software, a rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You're not alone. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you patted the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You're an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. Same for any sleeper who makes it out. SNR wants to protect the property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well, no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence. A built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away, towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion? Fatigue? You shakily get to your feet. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Trago stalks back to the wrecks, his drones already converging in a rustling hulk. plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figures. He returns to your work. Welcome to Erlen's Eye. Life from the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to the characters, explorers, the station perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty containers. End cycle. All cycles need to end. Rest and prepare for the next one. I warn you, I stutter sometimes. You wake curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all, this is what matters. Building life. Maybe you did get lucky finding yourself here. Maybe here on the edge of everything there's a life for you to build, but before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud to the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into liquid. Something that's silly screaming out. I feel like this game isn't going to be a yelling game. It's kind of just, it seems like a lot of reading so far. It's good though, it's kind of like a book. If the audio is too loud or anything, let me know. As the pungent smell washes over you, images of your restless sleep come back to you. A ring like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. Game sound a little loud. That better? Or even lower? Perfect. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you finish drinking that they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Oof, okay. Condition represents the current state of your artificial body. Depletes by one segment each cycle, will also get damaged. You have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. Based on your current condition, once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest. To describe this, represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you have to find somewhere to get food and currency to buy it. Okay. Oh, cryptocurrency. Very cool. Dragos has stood in the corridor when you close up the container. He's still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor you realize it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder. Its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Seems okay. That drone chirps. Good to hear. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not going to chit-chat too long, but you well enough to work? Sure. Alright then. It's morbid time. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find some good hands here, but I figure you're as a sleeper, you'll be used you'll be used to manual labor. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Chits. He pulls out a handful of small metal bars, air-walled cryo, isolated from the market. That's what we used to trade out here. He stuffs them back in his pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd best be suited moving on as quick as you can. And sleeper as well. Trails off. But things being the way they are for me at the yard, he pauses. I need the help. Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty of things to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping ahead of him. See you later. Calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. There goes here. God. Page-long tutorials. Actions are the primary way for you to sit and sleepers, perform an action. Clock progress, energy condition, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Good or bad, or neutral. Take some time to sort and leave. Control your tiles salvage, but you're no stranger to hard labor. Okay. Yeah, it's rolling the dice basically. You just figure out what happens. Roll section. Oh god. Is this... No, it's not tutorial anymore. This is real. Safe or risky. Even the rustiest hull can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skillfully. Or it's going to take some time to sort and cut your way through the towers of salvage. But you are no stranger to hard labor. Eh. I like to live dangerously. Let's try this. How do you... What? Alright, now I'm confused. Oh. Okay. So, safe bet. Give 3 stars. Or 3 on a dice. Progress clocks. Cool. Okay. Pretty sure I explained that already. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You're no stranger to hard labor. It seems to really, really want to tell me, like, you're gonna be doing a lot of hard labor. So far. Okay. Still risky, but 5 on it. Oh, 6. I got another 6 die. Rickroll vibes. What happens if I run out of these dice? Do I just chill now? I'm guessing. Okay. Find a doctor. What happened to me? You need access to corporate pharmaceuticals, otherwise this escape attempt will come to a rapid end. Okay, oh, it's general goal. Merchants willing to run the gauntlet of the Hellion system are rare, but those that do always return, eventually. Okay, so I got 50 cryptocurrency and some components. So, this is my character. I have 0 upgrade points. How do I find this Dragos dude? Rotunda? A lot of dice rolling. I feel like I missed something somewhere about this. Everything wants me to cycle these clocks. Pay low end toll after some spacers cause some trouble in the low end yet again. And impose a toll for entry. No one gets in without paying. Okay. It's as far back as I can go. Guess I'll go to sleep. This time you don't wake up. Oof. Never what you want when you go to sleep. Instead, the ghost of the station that's shifting skeletal ring surrounds you. For a moment you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging to the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions, as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into millions of distributed nodes. They connect. You see the station. No, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Touch it. You find a point in the station and you connect to it. Pulse through it, follow loops and paths under and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try in a moment of impulsiveness to connect to them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you, things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. I think that's what grasping is. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling you in 2 directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there, the station splayed out across your mind. A storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored, and then it's gone. Ooh, intense music. I'm starving. Oh shit. Where do I eat? No tourists here. Gotta find some food. Open market. Ask for directions. I guess I'll explore and hope I find some food. Uh, 50-50. Why not? What? Where do I need to eat something? So I just have some knowledge now. You can find anything and everything here. I wish I could find some food. Oh? Here's the doctor. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now you are here and you aren't so sure. Gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block. They have all made the long queue as a test of your nerve, but your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, your body will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Look inside. You lean against the doorframe and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway, screened with plastic sheeting beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. Wait your turn, he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway, and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one into Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor to ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market's sealed roof and buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you're transfixed by the motion. Come sit, comes a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turn away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak, they blink, and then quickly regain their composure. Please sit. They gesture to the bed and then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. How long have you been on the station? They ask, the scanner still to their eye. A few cycles. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama. Not without empathy. SNARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose, to prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen. Repurposed, or in your case escaping, they built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNARP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good, that may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers, as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and SNARP has no reason to release the stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know a little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at the back, willing them to say something, anything. I like this character. Got like a cool invisible cloak. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help you. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes. Hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside? You nod. He works for my benefactor yet again. They're influential in the low end. They gave me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, and soak their wounds. They look away. But yet again has connections. Smugglers from the Starward Belt. Mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slate. Their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive. But I think we can do it. Why help me? Yeah, this person seems very eager. Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave. Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you'll look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the moon looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk under the crowd, off into the crowd. I still need food. Memphis is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok. Delicious. His other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables and some red fleck dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chits rattle in his apron pocket as customers file to pass the burner, handing over payment. During the queue, it's mostly made of off-duty salvagers, vac suits unzipped and rolled down to expose stained vests. Grubby mods, a lattice of scars and tattoos. They discuss the best food in the eye, the best drink, comparing notes on bright market dives. Their words cut through with heavy spacer slang. Eventually it's your turn and you shuffle to the front. Empha speaks in a deep, even tone without looking up. First try is free. Thank you. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks, the earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy, the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you sleepers, Memphis says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. Hard life. A lot of stories. He glanced up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. Tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility, and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container and the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems you tell him, like some dream that you once had but can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you're unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually, you trail off, running out of words. This game never seems to run out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time, you can talk some more. He smiles, but next time, you pay. He slams a heavy hand against the button on the burner's side and shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time, then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the wok. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns. A circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pink pin marks. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. I'm no longer starving to death. I'm gonna take a break. This is a lot of reading. It's fucking with my voice. I need a drink. BRB. Alrighty, back to it. Where was I? Wait for Sabine to acquire the stabilizer. So just chill for now. Go do some hard labor. Same odds on this side. I'll just go for the risky one. Time for sleep. Oh, here we go again. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparks with glittering lights, like stars reflected in a winter lake. What is it? It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads, you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath your transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of a thread across the ring, through these forms, then leaping off into the void. You begin to understand these are nodes and connections, a map of information, of communication. There are so many layers, so many loops, that it seems almost impossible to parse, but you begin to try. Focus on the nodes? The nodes are glassy bright, but in all this flow, the only solid and fixed points. You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle. Dimensions are a little difficult here. Lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange, but before you can glimpse inside, the glass clouds and hardens, cutting you off. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes. One leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then, that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two lines, two threads, pulling in different directions, as if they were tied around you. A second. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something. A sphere shimmering above a strange angular body. Pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. The first thread leads out, away from the station into inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They are in a ship, and the ship is approaching, ever closer with each cycle. You open your eyes. Time is short. Someone out there is tracking you, following your trail. It won't be long before they arrive. Ominous. Something has changed inside of you. You can now access the data cloud of the eye, a network of decaying protocols and data caches. While there, you can use dice and items to access systems and extract data. Be careful, these networks are old and strange. Click the I button at the top of the screen to toggle this view on and off. Cool. Okay. Let's leave that alone for now. Let's go do some hard labor. You arrive into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across a vast dark shape. Suspended below the dome, they flicker across scorched hull plates and vent structures. Spilling from holes in the twisted shape, the cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, ain't she? Drago stands to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it is lowered into the yard. Looks ugly to me. She is. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up. Now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Drago's for this monstrous craft. You can't help but think of what became of its crew. What happened? What do you mean? He glances at you. I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit. That's what happened. No, what happened to the ship? Not my concern, he shrugs. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm gonna need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hulk, their lights illuminating flashes of dented hull. Watching, you wonder if you arrived. In similar fashion, locked inside that container, the wreck of the SNR freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own, a womb for your rebirth into this strange station? You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about this ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. I'm gonna finish up in 15 minutes. It's a long, tiring game. Drago squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we're up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship emblazoned on its side, Winter Light. Let's do it, why not? Taps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. A real beauty, Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting and then slip out of the yard. You're feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Paid off. Look at that. Oh, that's quick. Each drive complete unlocks an upgrade point to spend on upgrading your character, accessing your character menu via the arrow button at the top of the screen. Okay. Random scrap, crypto, energy recovery at home, predictive reasoning. Dice actually display potential positive and negative outcomes. That might be interesting. Chance to gain energy after any stage action. Wait, is all this -1? No, 0. Yeah, go for this. Head back here. Nope, never mind. We'll not head back here. But stings your sensorium sends warning signals over and over. This is the good stuff. Okay, guess it's time for more hard labor. The shipping seller as you look, Dragos gives you a disapproving look. Good. Is must understand anything you... Oh, such bad outcomes. Great. Time for sleep again. No. No weird acid trips in your sleep this time. Someone out there is tracking us, I think. Never mind. As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridor towards you. Sleeper, wait up. Sure. Bang is coming down the corridor towards you. A wonky grin on his broad face. Hey, glad I caught you. Do I know you? He grins. You do now. Puts a hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around. Just want to chat. You staying in that thing? He nods back to the container, shaking his head. Rough. It can be hard to get a start on the eye. He looks away down the passage. What was it old Erlen said? The eye opens up for us all? Nice idea, but, well, not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. Like this game just throws fucking names with you like you know everybody already. You pass together in the main hallway. Havenage. We are all one dysfunctional family. Bang puts an arm around you. I'm not part of the security branch, though. Don't worry, I'm with systems. Guess. Think of us as an administrative association for the eye. Depending on who you talk to, we either emerged as a response to or a continuation of Andre Herlin's original union. He smiles. Personally, I avoid the topic. He stops you in the quiet passage. Look, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I've been seeing some unusual network activity, and well, I know a little about you sleepers. I have a small proposition for you. He glanced around, but well, this is not the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare, then when you are settled, stop by. He lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say is true about you sleepers, well, there's work to be done. He pats you on the back, his voice bright and his dark look suddenly gone. Stay clean, sleeper. He walks off down the passage, raising a hand in farewell. So, the Cybernarch. Let's go 100% positive. Got some moolah. Let's do some eating. Is mayonnaise an instrument? I don't remember what that's referencing. Oh, wait, no, I do. I think I'm gonna call it here for tonight. It's been a long day at work, coming home and reading a book out loud. Good night. Sleep tight.